They tried to stop her, but her heart had already decided. The night she made her choice, the city was drowning in rain, and so was her heart. Streetlights blurred into trembling halos, and every step she took felt heavier than the last, as if the ground itself was asking her to turn back. She stood at the edge of a life carefully planned by others, with comfort, security, and approval waiting behind her, and an uncertain, painful but honest road stretching ahead. In that moment, with tears mixing into the rain, she understood something that would change everything forever. Sometimes love does not ask for permission, and sometimes choosing it costs more than you ever imagined. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of love to change lives, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Her name was Areeba, and from the outside her life looked like a blessing most people prayed for. She came from a respected family, lived in a warm house filled with traditions, and carried the weight of expectations with quiet obedience. From a young age she learned how to smile when she was hurting, how to agree when she wanted to scream, and how to shape her dreams into smaller, safer versions that would not disturb anyone. Love, in her world, was something to be arranged, approved, measured, and controlled. It was never meant to be wild or inconvenient. She met him in the most ordinary way, during a phase of her life when she felt invisible even to herself. He was not extraordinary by society's standards. He did not come with wealth, power, or a family name that opened doors. What he had was something rarer: patience, sincerity, and a way of listening that made her feel seen for the first time. Their connection did not explode into her life. It grew quietly, like a plant breaking through concrete, fragile but determined. She laughed without fear and spoke without rehearsing. For the first time, her heart felt like it belonged to her. But love, especially the kind that does not follow rules, never arrives without consequences. When her family discovered the truth, the warmth of her home turned cold overnight. Conversations became warnings, then ultimatums. She was reminded of everything she would lose: her family's pride, her place in society, her future security. She was told that love alone could not feed her, protect her, or keep her safe. And part of her believed them. Fear is convincing when it wears the face of concern. Days turned into sleepless nights. Areeba found herself standing between two versions of herself. One was the obedient daughter who had never disappointed anyone, who understood sacrifice as silence. The other was a woman learning, painfully, that denying her heart felt like a slow death. She tried to walk away. She told herself she could forget, that time would erase what she felt. But love does not disappear just because it is inconvenient. It lingers in quiet moments, in empty spaces, in the ache of pretending everything is fine. Pressure came from every direction. Relatives whispered, friends advised caution, elders spoke of honor and consequences. Even strangers felt entitled to judge a choice that was tearing her apart. She was offered alternatives that looked perfect on paper, futures that promised comfort without love. Each option felt like another version of a cage. The more she resisted her heart, the more she began to break. Her smile faded. Her health suffered. The light in her eyes dimmed in a way that frightened even her. The turning point did not come with courage or clarity. It came with exhaustion. One evening, sitting alone in her room, surrounded by the life she was supposed to want, she realized she was more afraid of living without love than of losing everything else. She thought about the years ahead, about waking up next to someone chosen for her, about slowly becoming a stranger to herself. That future terrified her more than any punishment she might face. Choosing love was not dramatic. There was no triumphant moment. It was quiet, painful, and deeply lonely. She spoke her truth, knowing it would not be accepted. The fallout was immediate. Doors closed. Support vanished. Relationships fractured in ways that might never fully heal. She left behind comfort and certainty, stepping into a life built from struggle and uncertainty. People called her foolish, selfish, ungrateful. Some said she would come crawling back when reality hit. Reality did hit, harder than she imagined. Life without safety nets is unforgiving. There were days of hunger, nights filled with doubt, moments when regret whispered seductively in her ear. Love did not magically solve her problems. It did not shield her from pain. What it gave her was something else, honesty. Every hardship was real, but so was the peace of knowing she had not betrayed herself. Every tear she cried was hers, not borrowed from someone else's expectations. Slowly, almost invisibly, things began to change. She learned resilience she never knew she had. She discovered strength in surviving days she once thought would destroy her. Love, the same love she had chosen over everything, became a source of growth rather than escape. Together, they built a life brick by brick, failure by failure. It was not glamorous, it was human. Time has a way of softening even the hardest judgments. The same people who once condemned her began to notice her quiet determination. They saw that she had not fallen apart. They saw a woman standing on her own, bruised but unbroken. Some relationships remained distant, some wounds stayed open, but not all bridges burned forever. A few were slowly rebuilt, not because she apologized for loving, but because she proved that her choice was not a mistake. Areeba never claimed her path was the right one for everyone. She learned that love is not a fairy tale, and sacrifice does not guarantee happiness. What she learned, deeply and painfully, was that a life lived without truth costs more in the long run than any risk taken for love. She learned that choosing love does not mean choosing ease, it means choosing meaning. Years later, on another rainy night, she stood by a window watching the city glow. Her life was still imperfect. Some dreams had changed, some losses still hurt. But there was a calm in her heart she had never known before. She had chosen love not because it was easy, but because it was honest. And that honesty had shaped her into someone stronger than fear. If this story has touched your heart, if it reminded you of a choice you made or one you were afraid to make, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs courage, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps these stories reach hearts that are still searching for hope. Before the story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with one word that describes what love means to you, or share your own experience if you feel comfortable. Your words might be the light someone else is looking for. Areeba's story is not about rebellion or sacrifice alone. It is about the quiet bravery of listening to your heart when the world is screaming at you to stay silent. It is about understanding that love, when chosen honestly, has the power to rebuild what fear tries to destroy. And sometimes, choosing love over everything does not mean losing it all. Sometimes, it means finally finding yourself.